I'm working on mapping, understanding and building a vision for counter-terrorism review in the UK with colleagues from Birmingham and Oxford. As part of that work, we're studying whether or not counter-terrorism law and policy is reviewed. If so, who does the review? What questions do they ask? To whom do they speak? And whether or not, to put it simply, counter-terrorism actually works. Our concern here in the UK at present is that we don't seem to have a robust, comprehensive system for asking what the law actually does when it goes into communities. In other words, what are the societal impacts of counter-terrorism? Counter-terrorism law and policy might mean that every time we are in a doctor's surgery or a university lecture hall, and everything we do online is subject to some kind of counter-terrorism surveillance on a very low level. That has negative societal impacts. It might undermine trust between us and the state. And if that does happen, then we run the risk of undermining social cohesion, making us less secure in the long term. So the primary legal risk that counter-terrorism law poses is that the state would generate and apply laws that violate human rights. Now, traditionally, we have seen counter-terrorism as an exceptional kind of state activity. So people talk about the state of exception or a state of emergency. But if nowadays counter-terrorism is more permanent, which we argue it is because the laws and the structures and the policies are permanent, then figuring out how we do accountability in the counter-terrorist state is of vital importance. Statistics only tell us what happens once activity reaches a certain threshold. There might be conversations between my doctor, for example, and a PREVENT team, which is a counter-extremism program, to figure out whether something I've said or done in a surgery consultation suggests that I'm vulnerable to radicalization. Now, if the result is no, and I'm never referred, I don't appear as a statistic. But counter-terrorism has touched me, has acted on me in my everyday life. In our research, we undertook for the first time a set of interviews with more than 24 people who are engaged every day in counter-terrorism review here in the United Kingdom. These varied from members of Parliament and government, people who are working as part of the formal system of counter-terrorism review, NGOs and companies and oversight bodies. We want to achieve a set of principles that would underpin how counter-terrorism review is designed here in the UK, but also in other countries and in international organisations like the European Union or the United Nations, to try to ensure that the deep-seated commitment to accountability that holds the state and the people together in a bind of trust can be maintained and strengthened even in the difficult, invasive and sometimes rights-infringing context of counter-terrorism.